What's up, guys? My name's Dave,
And I'm Tommy.
and welcome back as we are coming live from Segway City, your one-stop shop for all your Segway needs.
Oh, that's 2 weeks in a row we've had a name now, Dave. It's
I
good.
know. And I might try and change it up a little bit every time. Like every time, give another reason why Segway City is the place for you. Like, it kind of like every time I say it, kind of reminds me of Wonder City from Arkham, from all the Arkham games.
Oh, yeah.
Every time
yeah.
I just think of the Wonder City. I don't know why. It pops into my head every single time. But yeah. So let's kick things off. That's kind of become a bit of the norm around here, where we asked you a question of the week last time. And I know you definitely like doing this as well, Tommy. We kind of like going through and looking at some of the comments that you guys left. See,
Good ones, the bad ones, all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Seeing what some of the answers. And you guys came out in force last week. That was awesome. You guys left a lot of comments, and some of them were really quite cool. So let's start. I'll talk about some of the ones that so at least some of my favourite ones first. And one of my favourite ones that really sort of tickled me, it was kind of a bit of everything. It was kind of what we wanted. But, well, yeah, so actually, so I should really say what the question was first. We asked, because there was rumours that the next Spider-Man film was going to be 4 films, each one focusing on another year in which Spider-Man was at school. So one of the questions we asked were, what 4 Spider-Man villains would you like to see, one for each film? And also, what character would you like to see have a Netflix series? It's kind of a double-barrel question. So one of my favourites was the cutest tiger there ever was, who said Netflix series Blade. Now, even though I'm not a huge fan of Blade, I think it's a very good choice, and I think it fits the Netflix sort of genre.
Yeah, and Blade actually had a series before, back in 2006. It got one series. It was written by David S. Goyer, who you may know wrote the Nolan trilogy with Batman, Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises. And it also was written by Jeff Johns, who's like the man over at DC. He's a big writer of all their comics, the Justice League run. He was like in charge of the whole New 52 reboot with Jim Lee. And he's now his job is, whenever someone wants to make a DC project, be it like, CW for Flash or Arrow or anything like that, he will be the man at DC that they come and talk to about the rights, and then he'll explain the characters to them and stuff like that. That's kind of his role. So, that's what he was doing back in 2006. And it was actually, it wasn't a terrible show. It didn't get picked up for a second season, and personally I prefer the second film. I thought Blade 2 was really good. But yeah, it was alright. It was kind of so-so, but there's definitely the potential there, and I think Netflix would give it that push.
It sounds like there's some big names behind it as well. You're listing off all the things that they've done. Like, it seems like they actually had some strong minds behind the making of it. But I think actually the Blade cartoon crossed over into Spider-Man, the 90s animated Spider-Man. I'm pretty certain. I remember there one being the 90s animated Spider-Man where he was up against Morbius and Blade was there as well.
Oh, I did not know there was a cartoon for Blade. That's interesting.
Oh, do you know what? I just had a complete brain fart moment. This whole time I thought you were talking about a cartoon.
No, I'm talking about like a live action show.
Oh, man, what a brain fart moment. The whole time I thought you were talking about a cartoon. I was like, oh yeah, he crossed over. And you're like, what, he just turned into a comic at the same time? He just suddenly turned himself into a 2D image.
Man,
Hey, Spidey.
Like mine was a TV show on like Spike TV. It was like a real, thing.
Really? Oh, man.
Yeah, man.
I see, that's why when you were talking about it, I didn't show more excitement. Because I thought, oh yeah, I remember that. Like, I remember he was in Spider-Man as well, yeah. Man, the lengths he goes to hunt those vampires, turns himself 2D. Throws himself to the mercy of the pencilers.
Oh, we could spend a whole podcast talking about how much we love those animated shows, though. But
Christopher Daniel Barnes, my lord and saviour.
I'm a Silver Surfer guy. I always was, but that's what led me on my cosmic Marvel path.
Oh yeah, definitely. You're actually quite a huge Silver Surfer fan, aren't you?
That is one of my favourite heroes, and that is one of my favourite shows.
I've never known someone to like Silver Surfer like as much as you do. I think it's kind of cool though, because
does it now make more sense why I hate Fox so much?
Oh man, and things I love. You always know I have that soft spot in my heart for that first Fantastic Four film, but that second one, holy lord, what happened there?
That was a real stinker, wasn't it? I can't even think of the right words that I could say on this podcast for that.
Even with my Marvel blinders, I was a bit. I suppose the Marvel blinders doesn't really extend to Fox, but even I was like, oh.
The words I wish to use to describe that film would not be welcome in this sweet, sweet Segway City. So
of course
I'll keep them away from there.
No. language and profanity of any kind is outlawed in Segway City, unless I slip up, and then it's allowed that once. But yeah, sorry. Getting back to the cutest tiger there ever was. The comment said about the Blade Netflix series. The main thing I loved was the fact that your Spider-Man villains, you listed Carnage, Mr. Negative, Hobgoblin, and Mysterio. And the one in particular I liked out of that was Mr. Negative. Because I think it's something I mentioned, I can't remember when, I think it was like on a really old Captain's Quarters or something. And we were talking about Spider-Man villains. And because of, like, everyone always talks about the classics, your Green Goblins, your Dr. Octopuses. I suppose your Venom was actually, in a sense, one of the newer enemies, if you think about when these other characters first came in. But they're like the vintage Spider-Man enemies. So all the movies are always doing that. And I always thought to myself that for us older guys, yeah, they're the ones we think of when we think of Spider-Man enemies. But maybe for some newer Spider-Man readers, some younger kids who have only in the last, say, 5-6 years got into Spider-Man, people like Mr. Negative, like they're sort of like they're vintage enemies because they're the ones that they've grown up reading about. Sort of people like maybe Mr. Negative, or I was going to say Alistair Smythe, but he's actually quite an old enemy as well, although he came back quite recently with his Spider Slayers. So like, just people like that, some of the newer goblins like Menace and stuff like that. So they're the ones that I think younger generations are going to be looking to because they're current enemies. So,
Right,
but no,
yeah.
so I like that comment. I thought it was kind of good, a mixture of the old and a mixture of the new. Get some new blood in there. I thought it was kind of a good thing. So, but yeah, that was a cool one. And the other comment I liked was by Chris Willie, partially just because I like the name. But he said, I know this isn't going to happen, but what do you guys think of Spider-Man having 4-season Netflix series in his high school career? I feel this would work better because they would have a lot more time to flesh out not only Peter Parker but his supporting cast, as opposed to trying to fit everyone into 2 hours every 2 years like they're planning. To me, it's not. To me, it's not like Netflix is starved for budget, and if push comes to shove, Marvel would pitch it in a way to make sure quality doesn't suffer. What do you guys think? I think it's an awesome idea. I love it.
I don't think Marvel would ever let their quality suffer because of budget, especially when the bank behind Marvel is Disney, which is a virtually never-ending bank. But yeah, I definitely agree. I think that would be a really good way to tell the story. I think I've said before on the podcast about how the shooting schedule for TV stuff and Netflix stuff is different to film stuff. So it'd actually become more plausible to shoot more stuff over those 4 years if they made it yearly than it would for films. That's why more often than not you get a new TV series every year, but a new film maybe every 3 years. So it'd be a good way to do that because I am still worried about how long it's going to take him to tell this 4-year story.
True. And then the fact, we mentioned that before about how the actual actor's going to age as well.
Yeah.
He's still supposed to be in school. But no, I couldn't agree more. Like I've mentioned a few times how I'd love superheroes to have their own Netflix series and just the big events be the movies. I think that would be so cool. But I think especially Spider-Man, the fact that he has a supporting cast of friends in school, family, maybe he starts taking pictures for the Bugle while he's still at school or stuff like that. You think about watching a TV show compared to watching a film. In a TV show, granted, there's normally like 20 odd episodes or something. Let's just look at Daredevil. Was it 11 in Daredevil?
13.
Or was it 13? By that point, you've got to learn in depth about the other characters. Let's face it, if that was a Daredevil movie, do you think we would have cared half as much about Foggy Nelson if that was an hour and a half long?
Honestly, I think it depends on the filmmaker because you're talking to the most biased film person ever. But I think you can really tell a good, engaging story with a large number of characters in a short amount of time. I would agree that for certain characters you may miss out on that kind of opportunity in a film as opposed to a TV series. But I do think it is possible to still make a character like Foggy relatable in a film. Like I feel as though they. Obviously, it was a bad film, that first Daredevil one. So I feel gross almost trying to step in with it. But I really liked Jon Favreau in that as Foggy. I thought he was one of the better parts of that film. So I still did kind of care about him, but I do understand what you mean.
Man, I don't even remember. Was Jon Favreau Foggy Nelson in that first Daredevil?
Yeah, he's Foggy and happy.
It's like, what was he playing all the dwarves now? Foggy, happy, grumpy. I had no idea Jon Favreau was Foggy Nelson in that
Yep.
Daredevil movie. That's insane. I
Yeah, watch it.
completely
He's not bad in it. He's a redeeming quality.
Did you just tell me to watch the first Daredevil? You're trying to kill me.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
But yeah, but no, I think, as you say, like, I think it's a really good idea. Like, if a 4-season Netflix series focusing around Peter Parker and the fact that he has more enemies as well, I think you could really go in depth about his enemies.
Absolutely.
And, stuff like that. And
You
possibly,
can plant those seeds a lot earlier.
yeah, and possibly have at the end of the 4 Netflix series, have a Sinister Six movie then, based off of his enemies. Like,
Yeah.
that'd be kind
Even
of
give
cool
him
as
another
well.
series, you know.
Yeah, but no, it would be awesome. But at the same time, I'm kind of happy to see the Peter Parker and Spider-Man getting their own movie, and it has recently been said that he is billed to be in both Infinity Wars as well.
Mhm.
So that's cool.
Nice.
I mean, whereas right now we're hoping Daredevil and all the others are going to be in there, having a movie, he's more likely to be in it. So that's kind of cool. But what are the comments you like, Tommy?
Well, the one that really stood out to me was by NKH Productions, with a Z. And
Yeah,
that is,
I got
think
that.
Agent Venom Netflix series, because the story of Agent Venom good and has so much detail in the storytelling aspect. P.S. This could also link to a film for Agent Venom, which is really kind of, we did speak about it just now, but really the main reason I picked out on this is that I like the idea of linking to a film eventually as well. I think that is the way to do it, as Chris Willie also mentioned, and I did just say his name again because it's a cool name to say. But yeah, I also really, this does come from a place of love as well for the Agent Venom character. I was always the kid who wasn't a huge fan of Venom because, like, I don't know, I thought it was just too much like Spider-Man. Like, I didn't like the villains and stuff where it was just the opposite of the hero, if that makes sense.
No, I understand.
Venom just felt like the bad Spider-Man. I'd rather see Spider-Man go against someone, like Green Goblin or Mysterio or something like that. So I was never really a huge Venom fan. But when we got this whole Agent Venom thing, I remember when someone first told me about the whole Agent Venom storyline, and I was just like, nah, that sounds stupid. That's never going to work. But when I was reading the Guardian stuff, I'm sure I've spoke about this on the podcast as well.
Yes.
And Agent Venom came in there, and it was just perfect. I loved it. He's now one of my probably top 20 characters now, and the way they do that in the Guardians, and maybe if they teased him into the Guardians in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as well, which is why I'm picking this, then yes, that would be great. Give me that. Give that to me right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's very unlikely they will. But how cool would it be if they brought in the symbiote in
If you
Spider-Man?
spoke to me 4 years ago about the likelihood of a Guardians of the Galaxy film, I would have told you that was pretty unlikely as well. So
and now it's one of the best ones.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's definitely cool. And again, Netflix would be able to do Agent Venom possibly more justice because they have that dark undertone that they could follow.
And it's just it really lends itself well. I know a lot of comics do because they're told episodically, like comic books are. But with Agent Venom, you can just have the whole thing where he's just working for the military, and you can tell a bit of that story in your first episode about him in the army, and then him volunteering for the program. We could have 4 episodes before he even becomes Agent Venom. I think there is a good episodic story to tell there. I think I think that's what would work pretty well.
And I think also, anyone who doesn't know anything about Agent Venom, I thought it might be a good idea to preference the fact that Agent Venom and normal Venom, 2 completely separate people. The symbiote's the same, but Venom, Matt Gargan Venom, Matt Gargan, I suppose, is the most known for being the most vicious. Eddie Brock was the first Venom, but Matt Gargan, I think, is the most known for being Venom. I think he actually might have had the longest run as Venom. He was the one during Dark Reign and Siege and all that sort of stuff. But when it's Agent Venom, it's on Flash Thompson, and it's completely different character, but in a good way. In a good
character.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've actually got some Agent Venom. It came as part of that graphic novel series I'm collecting. I really should read some.
Yeah, you really should. I should as well. I might have to check it out on Marvel Unlimited. Yeah,
yes.
I'm on that plug-in hype with Dave.
Any chance? If I've said it 1,000 times, but if any of you guys want to read comics and you are not subscribed to Marvel Unlimited, just do it. It's it's the best deal I think I've ever heard in my life. It's so good. But,
so that's the answers to our questions from last week. We'll ask you a new one at the end of this video. But now we have that same old question that we ask each other at the start of every week. And that is, Dave, what have you been watching or reading or anything else that happens? like
Well-
that during the week.
Well, there were a few things I wanted to talk about, but just before, like, we did a segue on, there was actually one other thing I just wanted to mention about some of the comments. There was a few other people who mentioned a few things. I can't remember the names, but I'm just thinking off the top of my head. A few other series people said were about a Moon Knight
No,
series. That
okay,
was
yeah.
one that was very heavily suggested in the comments, and just around the internet in general. Moon Knight seems like a fan favorite for was for a Netflix series, along with Punisher as well, which could actually
not-
be in the works.
I'm not too familiar with Moon Knight as a character, but from what I understand, he's kind of a darker character, right? Has he got like personalities or
Yeah, I
something?
think he's like. See, that's the thing. I don't know either. He just randomly started popping up in comic book events.
Yeah, a friend of mine had a poster of him for ages, and I always asked him about him, and he just never knew anything about it. He just liked the look of the poster, and that's really all I know of Moon Knight. I think that's the only reason I know he exists.
Yeah, he's just, I don't know. For me, he just seemed to appear out of nowhere. But I think he started off as like one of those street level superheroes because he was in Shadowland, which was an event
Okay.
where basically Daredevil took over the Kingpin's empire, and I think he joined the Hand or something like that, and he started to lose his way a little bit. And you had Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Spider-Man, Moon Knight. What's his name? It's like Shang-Chi or something like that. All these street level superheroes just went to sort of like take him down and be like, okay, look, you got to stop. You're taking this way
Right.
too far.
Oh, actually, what am I doing asking you the question? I totally forgot about the other question that we haven't answered the question ourselves yet.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing I was going to mention as well. It's
Yeah.
been a long week for us. We've
has.
been doing deadlines. Our brains are kind of fried here, but
It's been a long week. It's been kind of slow news in general. We're just like, yeah, sorry, forgive me.
yeah, there was another one. I'm completely forgetting what it was as well. Like another. See, you guys had so many good answers last week. I'm forgetting one of them. I'm gonna kick myself later as well. But one of you guys replied with a really cool comment, and I forgot about it.
Was it Howard the Duck?
No, it was not Howard the Duck.
Oh,
No.
sorry, dude.
Oh well. Doesn't really matter. But anyway, yeah. So, what was it? What was your answer to the question? Like, if I was to ask you that about the 6 Spider-Man villains on the Netflix series, how would you respond?
I'm not too sure how I would have responded, but now that I've seen these guys' things, I really am behind the idea of Agent Venom. I love that, and I love that whole like telling the story of like the war, and him being a soldier, and then him doing these like Black Ops covert missions as Agent Venom. I just think that'd be really really cool, and I'd love for that, obviously me being me, to lead to eventual Guardians crossover in the films.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. And to be honest, I think I'm probably in agreement. Like, if there wasn't Spider-Man movies, I'd say the Spider-Mans would be the Spider-Mans, like they're like a family. Like, I'd say the Spider-Mans, but no, Agent Venom. If not Punisher, I'm quite happy with that. I've never been a Punisher fan, but something along the lines of Punisher or Moon Knight, maybe a more like unknown superhero would be kind of cool. It's a good way to bring them in, I think. But
Yeah, for sure.
what about your 4 Spider-Man villains? Who would you like to see be
Okay.
Spider-Man's enemies?
Well, for this, I thought, because I don't want to just throw 4 random villains in there, so I thought, right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll think of a 4-film arc that I can string together for this, and then put the villains in around that. I've also named my films.
Oh man, you've got in depth on this one.
Yeah,
You're gonna
mate.
blow me out the water with your answer. You really are.
No, it's fine. You're the Spider-Man guy, no pressure.
Oh,
Right.
thanks for.
So my first film is obviously called Spider-Man: The New Avenger, which we've already established. And this might be a bit of a cheat, this one, because I put as my villain the Street. That's it. It's just the Street. There's no big villains in there. He's not ready for that. He's a kid. He's working his way up. He's still not wearing the full Spidey suit. I'm not saying it's full on just jeans and a t-shirt kind of thing. He's worked something out, kind of the way Daredevil had at the start of that series with the whole Black Ninja kind of thing that he was going for. Spider-Man's just got like a working suit, something like that. Maybe he even gets it right at the end. I don't know. I'm not a writer, I'm just a big Hollywood exec pitching stuff or whatever. I don't know. I'm just a
Throwing
dude.
stuff to the wall and see what sticks.
Right, so that's Spider-Man: The New Avenger. Then the next year we get Spider-Man: Worst Day. Do you recognise that? It's the name of an arc.
Man, no, I do not recognise that at all.
It's a Shocker arc. That's right, we've got Shocker. And
Wait,
What?
which Shocker? Is this 616 or Ultimate Shocker?
yes.
So basically, Ultimate Shocker is a complete loser. He's
Who's he?
useless. He's so funny. I love him.
All right, well, not that one. Then I'm talking 616. The big
Okay.
yellow jacket, all that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I really want to see this. I kind of want to go for this other one now, just because I think it'd be
He
fun.
doesn't have the suit. All he does is have these have like these gloves that shoot out shockwaves, and literally Spider-Man will swing past and just shoot and just like web them up and keep going. Like, and then the Shocker just ends up shocking himself and falling on the floor. And he's just like, every time he's like, "Oh, Herman, really? We doing this again?" And then like every time Shocker will be doing stuff, he's like, "I'm finally freed. I'm taking my money." He turns around and he goes, "Oh, come on, kid, really?" He's just like, "I've just got out."
No, I'm talking proper, yeah, yellow jacket, 616 Shocker, and he is just this like he's a man, and Spider-Man's like a boy, and he just makes him brutally aware of that. This is the first time anyone like supers taken has confronted Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man's grown up like in my films, seeing all the Avengers on his TV and on the news, and inspiring him to go out there and be something bigger and be something better. And he's seen all these big villains that they fought as well, and he's always wanted his villain. He's only fought the streets before, as we've known that from the first Spider-Man film. So this time, Shocker comes in, and this whole film is set during one day, and it's Spider-Man's just realization and coming to terms with his life at school. He's got finals coming up or whatever. He's revising, he's studying, he's got his love life going on. We're carrying that on from the first film as well. But Shocker's he's he's wrecking shop. He's taking down the city. The Avengers, they're busy. They're doing stuff.
They don't have time for Herman Schultz.
Spider-Man has to deal with this in this crazy ass day. It's the worst day of his life, and you know what happens? Obviously he lives, because then we get to Spider-Man 3. It's called Spider-Man Ultimatum.
Ooh,
Right.
I like that, 'cause that was actually a story arc as well.
I know. I just looked at the names of story arcs. I didn't actually follow that. I didn't actually follow their arcs in the slightest.
I was going to say, because they're ultimatum. I don't know how you do that one.
Right. So this one we've got Vulture. Okay. Vulture's playing with Spider-Man. He's doing his thing. He's got his stuff going on. He wants the youth or whatever Vulture's deal is. I'm not a huge Spider-Man guy, but he's bald. He's wearing a big green suit, and he's crazy.
What's
Right.
his youth?
He he gives Spider-Man some sort of ultimatum. I'm guessing by the name. I should I'm on a level with you guys. I thought Ultimatum was a really cool name. It doesn't fit into my plot in the slightest.
Yeah, I was about to say Ultimatum was the Ultimate Universe as well. Shockingly,
Probably. So Spider-Man is dealing with Vulture. There's a cool story. Probably. And yeah, he fights Vulture and that's it. And he wins, and he feels like he's beaten Shocker now. He's getting a bit cocky. He beat the street, right? He's now got the Vulture. He beats him too. But then what? He's got everything. He's done it all. Spider-Man, The Last Hunt, Craven. Boom. Here we go. Right. Craven's this grizzled old hunter. He's conquered everything. There is not an animal or beast on this world, predator and prey, takes them all, that he has not conquered, except for one. Except for Spider-Man.
You're getting so into this.
Right. Spider-Man may be the biggest game of Craven's career. And Craven's old now. People don't care about... People are actively hating on hunters, There's all these Facebook groups and petitions about it. Craven's going down. He makes books. He's made some TV appearances, but it's nothing anymore. He needs to get back on the map. Spider-Man is that way back on the map. But now Spider-Man, he's going through some graduation stuff. Spider-Man isn't even the main part of his life anymore. It's kind of like a weekend thing now. Spider-Man's getting distracted. He's fallen in love, maybe. I don't know. This is improvising on the spot now. I just made these titles, and now I'm making films around them. So now, it's Craven's coming in. He's gonna hunt him, but Spider-Man probably wins because he's Spider-Man. Thank you. Maybe we should put like an applause track in there.
And also, I might play like the that music they play for all the adverts there. Dunna 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 dunna. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
It really beat it up. But No, you definitely put a lot more thought into that than I did. A lot more thought.
You sure?
Yeah, basically, my process, like my thought was just, I'll pick enemies that haven't already been in it. That was that's basically what I thought. But okay, so like thought up this big like convoluted story. But my basic thoughts were, I thought it might be kind of cool to see the chameleon. Because that I know of, he doesn't have any superpowers. I think he's literally just like he can mold faces, and he is, as they say, like a comedian. He can just like change his personality and just like really just sort of like fit in with anyone. So I think the chameleon might be good to see. I'm not sure how they would do him. I'm not sure which route they would go with this, but it'd be interesting to see. I think the Kingpin would be fantastic. Well, I think that was one of the comments actually I wanted to mention about. But yeah, the Kingpin would be fantastic. I think it would be a really great way to link the Marvel Universe, have a Daredevil villain, also be a Spider-Man villain. I think that would be I think that would be a really good link. I was thinking slightly about the Shocker, but since how you've picked the Shocker, I'll move away from that. But I'd like to see some.
You can pick Ultimate Shocker if you want.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things. I was going to sort of cheat and pick more than 4 because I was going to say I'd like to see a newer villain. So I'd like to maybe see a Mr. Negative, but on the side, actually, yeah, like Mr. Negative, but have like side characters. So while he's fighting Mr. Negative, he's also like maybe at the start and the end of the film, he's just beating up Herman Schultz, like the Shocker, for fun. And when Kingpin's the big enemy, you can also have Alistair Smythe with his Spider Slayers, like. So Kingpin has hired Alistair Smythe to make the Spider Slayers. So the really Spider-Man's big enemy is Kingpin, but Kingpin's using the Spider Slayers. So you're also getting those side enemies in. That'd be kind of cool. And I don't know, I've already picked 4 now, haven't I? 3. Yep. So my last one, I'd either want, as you said, like Kraven the Hunter. I think that could be kind of cool, or maybe the Goblin Army. And I'm not talking Green Goblin. I'm talking about Menace as well, and just like all these little Goblin minions. I think that'd be really cool because he converts basically all the gangs into his little goblins. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
I'm in.
You're in?
I'm sold.
You're sold. All right, cool. So anyway, let's get
Kevin on the phone.
Let's get this thing moving along. So we've been talking about the comments and that sort of stuff quite a lot. So as you said earlier, what have you been up to this week, Tommy?
Well, I've been not doing a lot. I finished university like a week early, so I've just done nothing. But where you may think like, he's done nothing, which means he must have read lots of cool comics and watched lots of cool TV shows and stuff for us to talk about. No, I say I've done nothing. I've done nothing. It's been a really boring week for me. I've just done nothing except watch one really, really good film at the cinema. Dave, what have you been up to?
Well, I think if you've been like stressing at university as much as I have, you deserve this 1 week off doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it's required, I think. So.
Yeah, that's why I've done nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the reason. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for giving me a reason. But no, I've been, as I say, I've been stressing. I've been doing a lot of university work. Mentally, I'm fried right now. I don't know. Hopefully, that doesn't come across too much in the podcast right now. But I'm mentally, I'm shattered. I'm probably gonna have to sleep for a week after this. But no, I have been managing to read Avengers and New Avengers in my downtime. I'm reading the 2013 run, all on the build up to Secret Wars. So I'm getting through it. I'm as of recording this, I'm just about to start Infinity. So I'm really excited, and I think that's probably what I'll be doing once I get this podcast edited. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. That's cool. And other than that, just like watching stuff like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. each week and all that sort of stuff. But segueing nicely on, here we go. We have both recently watched a new movie that's come out, haven't we, Tommy?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Oh my God, yes, we have.
And I'll let you bring this one up because I know you're a lot more excited about it as well.
Okay, this film is without a doubt the best action film in the last decade, maybe longer. This film is directed by the man who brought you Babe, Peak in the City, Happy Feet, and Happy Feet 2. This film is Mad Max Fury Road.
Now, I did not see that coming. Like, obviously, I knew we were about to talk about it because I just told you. But when you told me that they were the films he directed before Mad Max, like,
yeah.
Babe, Pig in the City, really?
Yeah, seriously.
Do you think his original script for that was, and then Babe slaughters the other animals? And he's like, ba 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 ba.
Yeah, Dave, what did you think of Mad Max Fury Road?
It was good. It was a good film. It was fun, definitely. I can see why you told me it was like one of the best action films you've seen in, what was it, like a decade, you said?
Yeah, in the last 10 years at least, it's the best action film I've seen.
It was really
By
cool.
far,
Do you know what the
by
one thing
far
that
none.
shocked me though?
What's that?
I expected, you know, like some of these films where the gore fest is over the top.
Hmm.
I was expecting that, and like, every time someone went underneath a vehicle or got shot, I was expecting a big blah, like you really see
Yeah.
their face get crushed, and they didn't do that. And originally I was like, oh, I was kind
There
of
were
expecting
probably
that.
2 quick shots of proper gore, and that's it.
Yeah,
We're over in a second.
but then that's the thing is, at first my initial reaction was like, oh, I was kind of expecting like some real big gore then, and then I thought to myself, actually no, it's kind of cool they didn't, because it could have been really easy to just gone blood, guts, yeah, but they didn't. They were like, no,
It's true. I think, Dr. George Miller, the writer and director of this film and the other Mad Max films, he did a really good job of those like basic things in cinema that are taken for granted. He is able to tell a great action story without just throwing blood all over the place. He's able to do it without just using ridiculous amounts of CGI, because a lot of that was practical stuff, which I really like the idea of thinking of, like looking at a lot of those shots and then imagining a 70-year-old man at the other side of the camera. I thought it was brilliant. But also he does something that is one of my main gripes about the Transformers films, and in that they show these great spectacle action sequences, but you can't tell a thing that's going on in Transformers because the shots, the camera's all shaking, and we're getting weird close-ups in weird places and moving fast cuts and stuff like that. In Mad Max Fury Road, we get these long, stable shots, and we can see everything, and it's bold, and
yeah.
it makes a statement, and I think it's done so well. And yeah, this is coming from a man who really just made the film he wanted to make.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. As you said about the long shots, that's great. Like Transformers, I probably would never be a great film, but I wouldn't rag on it as much as I do if at least I could see the robots fight. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't go there for the story anymore, not past the second one. But like the second one killed it for me. But at least
Yeah.
like, I don't know, let's go watch some robots fight. But all I do is leave a headache and I have no idea what just happened. Like
Yeah.
they just wasted millions and billions on CGI, and it was just bits of metal hitting. Like, but in Mad Max, I agree completely. Like there was long shots, and you're thinking, right, that guy is swinging on a massive pole, and he's going down, and look, he's heading towards their roof. I know what he's gonna do. Oh no, twist, something else has happened, and
Yeah.
it's cool. Like you get the gist of what's happening, but you know, like, okay, this car's going around the back now. Now he's going around the side. And now someone's jumped on, and now he's trying to get in front of them. It's not all just like bish bash bosh explosion. Oh, cool. It's I don't know.
And it's
Cool.
not just these long shots either that are just there so you can see what's happening. These are long, beautiful shots. If you pause Transformers at any given second, chances are you wouldn't even be able to make out what's on your screen. If you pause Mad Max at any second, you could frame it. You could put it on your wall as a piece of art. It's beautiful. It's stunning, and it's great action as well. It's a sort of. It looks like the sort of film you'd expect to be some slow like drama thing. Like if you just look at some of these like long desert shots and things like that. Obviously, if you took out the fact that there's like these giant cars with spikes coming off them, but it's still that it just tells this great story, and it's so filled with action. And it's really hard to explain this, just because so much happens, and I've got so much on my mind right now. I'm trying to funnel it all through, but this whole film is around one car chase. Like
Essentially, yeah.
this is a 2-hour film around one car chase, and you don't care for a second. It's cut in such a way and written in such a way that it breaks down the action without you missing it. So when you feel like you've had too much action, you're stopped, you've slowed down, you're having a breather, and then by the time you realise, oh wait, is this getting a bit slow? Boom, you're back in the action again. It does that perfectly.
Yeah, and I think what's also cool is the fact that there was a couple of things I want to mention, like from what you said, but one, when you said the fact that it's just literally a car chase, it shows you not only on the action that's happening, but how much it depends on just the characters themselves to tell the story, and not in the I was once this. Like there was never any backstory other than like the quick mad flashes he was having because he's mad, he's insane. Yeah. Other than that, there was once a longer time, blah 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 blah. Other than at the start where there was that very quick, news reports and stuff like that to show, okay, this is a post-apocalyptic world. There was no backstory. There was no backstory to the big bad guy. There was none of this sort of stuff. It was told through the actions they did. So like you're like, okay, this guy's a tyrant. He's ruling these guys by like holding something over them that they need, and like you could just tell who the characters were. But like Mad Max himself barely spoke, but you got who he was.
Yeah.
You got what he was about.
That's exactly what I mean about this writing. Like that, normally in films they'll waste 20 to 30 minutes giving exposition about a main character. They didn't do this in this film. You didn't need to do this. Whether you'd seen the previous Mad Maxes or not, like they explained well enough who he was. Whether even though I have seen the other Mad Maxes, you've never seen this villain before. Yet I knew everything I needed to know about him by the time the film ended. It was perfectly constructed.
Yeah, and I think they did it in a in like that sort of film because of the stuff that's happening, and obviously the people that are chasing them are crazy and not at the same time. It's like a civilized crazy.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. They could have easily just made them cutting off their own limbs and eating stuff and like there was that scene with the stillborn child. They could have easily held up this ragdolled, like tried to shock value you by holding up this like obviously prosthetic like child and really tried to shock the audience, but they didn't. They kept it off camera, but you understood what was happening.
Kept it classy. Yeah.
Basically, and you're still like, oh, like these guys are evil, these guys are horrible, without actually going, here it is in front of you. Like it was, it was well done. It was well done madness. And I think also what you were saying about the visual stuff is also true, because there was some scenes that were just, even though there's explosions and stuff going on, whether there was that happening or whether that wasn't happening, it was still visually just very nice to look at, and not in a whoa, look at all that CGI. It was just beautiful. Bear in mind they were on a rusty oil tanker in the middle of like, well, I'm assuming which is the whole world a desert. But it just looked nice. Like the horrible stuff looked nice. It was really well done.
Yeah, but again, I couldn't agree more. I think this film was just so great. I can't wait because they're talking about perhaps a trilogy as well, which I'm liking the sound of.
Yeah, that's what I've heard anyway. That's what the rumor train
The thing about, have you seen the other Mad Max films?
No, I've literally just caught before this. I the first time I ever heard of it was in Simpsons. And Homer was writing a letter to Mad Max saying, "Dear Mad Max, I would like to do this, blah 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 blah," like just like taking like the piss out of like fan letters and stuff like that. But and other than that, when I saw Mad Max, like when I lived with my parents, they used to have the movie channels, and like Mad Max was on. Because of that, I was like, oh, and then I saw Mel Gibson straight away. I thought, oh, it's hell being Mel, and thought of Lethal Weapon and all this sort of stuff, but I never really took it seriously. I finished my lunch, turned it off, and off I went. So that was literally my only backstory with Mad Max. But I saw this and thought, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping a lot more people do that as well. I really want this to become a hit because it's at about $180 million budget, which is huge, which is big. It's a big budget, especially to give a 70-year-old man whose last film was Happy Feet 2. Right, I can't stress that enough. But it just shows what kind of clout and what kind of pull George Miller still has in Hollywood, that a studio will still trust his vision and give him that money and do that, because it was a different film. You don't see films like this all the time now. So yeah, there is a lot of trust behind that, and they must have just thought, look, Mad Max 2 Road Warrior is one of the greatest films of all time. This man made that. Let's trust him. Let's absolutely trust him. And I think it really paid off, and I really wanted to do financially for him as well. This weekend it's obviously up against Avengers Age of Ultron and Pitch Perfect 2, which is also opening this weekend. So I don't know if it will be able to hit number one.
Yeah,
I definitely can guarantee you it will last at the at ticket offices longer than both of those films will.
And in fairness, he's going off against two popular films in two very different genres. Like, people who love Pitch Perfect might not love Age of Ultron. People who love Age of Ultron might not like Pitch Perfect. But either way, both of those audience have got their favourite films. So it's like, it's a hard time for a film that maybe people wouldn't really care about. Like, in fairness, if I hadn't heard how much everyone loved it, I'm not certain if I would have went to see it. I mean, I saw it today on a whim.
It's got 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's 5-star from Empire. Like, I've not seen a bad review for this film.
Yeah,
and I really hope people listen to the critics and go out and see this film. And if you're listening to this now, please go out this weekend. Spend your money and see this film. It's worth it.
Yeah,
it really is.
It really was. Like, at first I was sitting there and I was a bit kind of taken back. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know these characters. I'm trying to understand why there are these crazy people. I was trying to just get my head around what was happening. And when I realised there wasn't going to be this backstory, I thought to myself, huh? And then I thought, actually, no, that's kind of cool because you're literally just thrown into this world, and it's like, go.
Yeah,
And
kind of like Max's really. Like at the
Yeah.
beginning, we just see him get taken, and you're like, whoa, he's been what? And then he's just thrown into this society, this kind of subculture and civilization that he's not been a part of, and he doesn't know how it functions. So we're kind of seeing how all the whole blood bag thing and the war boy thing, how this all works through Max's eyes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, but no, it was definitely good. It's one of those films that you don't expect to be fantastic.
Yeah, and you don't need to have seen the other three, but it is still part of the same universe.
Yeah.
So,
So
basically, what sorry, go on.
No, it's something else. Carry on.
What George Miller was going for is he wanted Max to be this kind of legend in this post-apocalyptic land, and obviously with legends, that people tell stories about them. So each film is going to be from the villain's point of view, or someone's point of view, telling the story of Max. So the second one was told from the Feral Boy. This one was told from Furiosa, supposedly, and it's going to be that's why it's a different actor. It's because they're remembering him differently or something. So
Is it not going to be Tom Hardy next time?
it might be, but obviously it was Mel Gibson before. That's kind of what they're going for. So it probably will be Tom Hardy again, but it's just like if they change the actor again.
Yes.
That's why. It's just they're just remembering Max slightly differently, that sort of thing. So
okay,
it's
I'm
a
with
really
you now.
cool way to set it up, and yeah, I'm really interested to see the future of that as well.
Yeah, because the story was basically around Furiosa, and Mad Max just got it, like he just happened to collide with them.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that actually, because there's a lot of controversy around this already, which I hate, and I don't really like giving it a platform here, but it is kind of news, and I would like to talk about it. And that's that a lot of people have been complaining that it's kind of a feminist propaganda film, how it's like
what?
called Mad Max, but he's not the main character, Charlize Theron is, and how like she's giving him orders and stuff like that. And I think this is stupid. It's utterly ridiculous.
Oh man, stuff like that is just why we can't have anything nice. Like,
I know, and
I
the
love
worst part
saying
is-
that, but it's true. It
And the
really
worst
is.
part is as well, like I know we're talking about it now, but everywhere reports on this. So whether it comes from one silly website or not, it becomes a huge thing on the internet. And then when all these big sites give it publicity, their bigger audiences than what had it before may agree with that. So now they've just brought more people to it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they've brought up something that other people might not have thought of before, and now they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, and it's
And now
stupid.
it's a whole news thing, and now it's what people are talking about. It's what people are having to defend against, and it's ridiculous. So people, calm down. It's there's been strong female characters before.
Yeah.
This is the first time.
And in a sense, that's being feminist, not feminist, that's being sexist, because they're saying because there was a strong female cast and a strong female lead in a movie about a male actor, they're saying that's feminist. So I was like, wait, hang on, why can't a female be a strong lead in a male-driven film and it just be a film? Why does it have to be about feminism? If it was Charlie's Angels and there was a strong male cast in that, would it be, I don't know, a macho? I don't know what the male version of feminist is. Like, would it be seen as, oh, this is supposed to be a girly film, but it had a lot of macho undertones to it, blah blah blah. No, it's just the way the film went. It's like I loved it. Like I went there to see Mad Max. I went there to see Max being mad and driving cars and killing people. That's because that's all I knew. But when there was literally this strong cast of women and how like they're trying to save these women from these crazy male society,
Yeah.
like, I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. And especially seeing how you get very, very small glimpses of Max's backstory as well. It understands why he would be helping them as well. It
Yeah.
makes sense that he would, based on like some of his backstory and whatever. So, people just try and find something to moan about these days, don't
Yeah,
they?
they really do. They really, really do.
Yeah, it's just, that was a fun film. Just why poke at things? Like you could look at anything and try and see some sort of ism or a this or a that. If you look hard enough, you can see it with anything. You could look at this podcast and go, well, there's two men, so this is very sexist. Both of them are white, that's racist. Like, you can look at anything and just say, that's a thing. Like, it's just stupid. Things are what they are. Just enjoy them, people. This is why the world can't have nice things. And Mad Max was nice, like, visually. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, one thing I noticed, And it's such a stupid thing to notice. But at one point, it was near the end, Mad Max is standing there. I'm going to call him Mad Max every time because it reminds me of Homer Simpson. But Mad Max was standing there, and his head was quite close to the camera. And his hair was cut short, obviously, because like, in that world you would have your hair short. It's bloody hot. But yeah, I liked how it wasn't a nice... You know these movie haircuts where like, I'm in an apocalyptic wasteland, and they just gel their hair weird. I like how they had actually cut his hair all out of line. Like there were tufts of long bits every now and then, but not obvious. It just made him look like he was insane, and that maybe he just found a knife and cut his hair at some point. And it looked cool. I liked it. Like it's such a stupid thing to notice, but it just made it look like in like The Walking Dead, everyone has really nice haircuts, and I'm like, how are they doing this? Like every now and then they got a girl going, "Oh yeah, I'm cutting your hair," but like who's cutting that Rick's beard so nice? Like who's doing this? And that's what I liked. It's like his hair looked awful. It looked like he had just found something and without a mirror just tried cutting his own hair. And maybe that's how they did it. Maybe they're like, look, Tom, I'll cut your hair, mate. You're not allowed a mirror. You're just allowed this pair of scissors, and you've got to try and get it as short as you can. Like maybe that's what they did. But it's cool. It's little stuff like that that makes it cool.
No, it's good. And the cast was great. Charlize Theron was amazing. She was the standout in this film for me. And Nicholas Hoult was really good.
That's
as well.
what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I like Nicholas Hoult in it. I thought
What a lovely day.
It was
lovely day.
It was a very different character.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm noticing he's doing a really good job in playing completely different roles, and it's probably because he's doing them back to back as well. Like from About a Boy, Skins, Beast.
Yeah.
What a lovely day! It's like he's done a variety of different characters in a short amount of time.
Yeah, but I also really want to talk about Tom Hardy because he was brilliant in this. He, as you said earlier, he hardly says anything, but he still just has this like presence and power to him, and he, you know, you are afraid of him, and I believed everyone else was afraid of him, you know, and he just does that by standing there and looking tough, you know. That's what he does best, and he did it really well.
Like seeing his eyes, it's like a madness, but a confused madness almost. Like there's that bit where it's like an uneasy alliance between him and the Furiosa, and he's literally just picking up a gun from every single hidden spot, and he gets like 10 of them out, like finding all these different guns, and in the same time, like his eyes are open, but they're like darting all over the place. It's almost just like he's crazy but confused, but also knows what he's doing at the same time, and it's all just through his facial expressions.
Yeah.
And he's just like, do you know what it kind of reminded me of? Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Okay.
You know, in some scenes with the Joker, it's quite close, and he's sort of like, it doesn't help you can't see me, but he sort of like, he just mutters his mouth to himself, and he kind of makes that sort of... So I've noticed quite a few times when he's thinking, like when he was, like at one point where he's trying to save a character, and he's doing stuff, and he's like, oh, okay, all right, and hold this. And he's just like kind of, you know, he knows what he's doing. Like you can see the serious good guy in him, but on the exterior, he's just twitchy and kind of.
Yeah. No, do you know what it is? It looks like he's thinking about what he's going to do next, rather than thinking about what the next line is.
Yeah.
So rather than him thinking about what he's going to say next or what he's going to do next, he's thinking about how he's doing it, and he looks like he's developing that plan. It doesn't look like he's, you know, pulls in to wait till his character thinks of the plan. It looks like he's coming up with it. It's really hard to put into words, but it's really strong. And Mel Gibson said, because this film has been in development a few years ago, Mel Gibson was originally going to be in it, and he said he met Tom Hardy at a lunch once because I think Tom was just a bit kind of nervous about taking Mel Gibson's job, so he kind of wanted to like make sure it was all cool, and it was like Mel was totally fine with it, and he said he's a huge fan of this actor. So like, you know, Tom Hardy's getting noticed in all the right places.
And like we're talking about like chameleons and stuff like that. Like Nicholas Hoult is kind of showing that you can play different roles, but Tom Hardy, you think Bronson, Bane, Mad Max, like he's playing some very varied roles, and he said, like, obviously we spoke about last week about him wanting to be the Punisher, as well. Like he's like when his career was first starting, nobody I could have predicted that he would have been this good at, like, because some actors get typecast. They're great actors, but they play the same character over and over again. But Tom Hardy, every time, has just been completely different. And not even just now I'm a businessman, now I'm a drug addict, but I've just got makeup on and I shiver a little bit. Like, he is that person.
Yeah.
Like, I would easily understand that if maybe someone didn't recognise him in two different roles. Because I probably wouldn't have thought he was Bane unless I knew, obviously, ages before the film came out. I wouldn't have pegged that he was Bane.
Well, we're really going to see something different later this year. October 2nd, 2015, actually, as the date just got announced today for the film Legend about the Cray twins, where
All
Tom
right.
Hardy's going to be playing both twins. So we're going to see him in two very different roles there.
That's brilliant. I mean, there you go. We're gonna see how he's a chameleon right then and there. Then, but that's gonna be. And he's already done like one of these like British. I suppose he's not really a British gangster film, but he did Bronson, didn't he? So
Yeah.
and I mean, yeah, I suppose that's where he'd already refined his kind of psycho role a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, and then some. But there's much more about Mad Max you wanted to talk about?
No, that was pretty much it. I thought it was a good film.
I've got one more thing, and that is, if a 70-year-old man can make a film as action-packed and intense as Mad Max Fury Road, then Joss Whedon can make an Avengers film. I'm just saying, like, he needs to calm down about how exhausting it is. People make big studio films all the time, and even 70-year-old men do. So I'm just saying, Joss, just like, tone it down a little bit, mate. Just calm it, all right? We get it. It's hard, but it's not that hard.
Things I see what you're saying, but I get the feeling that Joss was on a much tighter schedule and was butting with a lot more heads. Whereas
Yeah.
Mad Max probably just had the freedom to do
He's
whatever he
also
wanted.
he's also 20 years George Miller's junior, so. All right. Anyway.
well, there's two places we can go on from that. Do you know what? Actually, no. Let's go on to the more happy place. Let's talk about the new title that has been dropped for the new Planet of the Apes movie.
Yes.
Because I know you're also very happy about this. So let's keep you in this good mood.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. Well, in 2012, they rebooted Planet of the Apes with Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which is a fantastic film. Andy Serkis as this ape Caesar. We've got James Franco then as the guy. Who's
I
probably
can't
got the
remember his name.
What was his name?
All I can think is Pineapple Express. That's not the character at all.
It is. It's Will. Just Will Rodman. Just a normal average Joe name. La, da, 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 there you go.
Yeah.
He's the one who creates this virus. This not virus. This it was supposed to be a vaccine for dementia, and it was a really heart-wrenching story. They told it so well. I cried. I'll say it.
And who was the actor who played his dad? I think he did a really good job in
John
that.
Lithgow. Yes,
Lithgow.
he was amazing, and yeah. So then we got that. Sorry, that's 2011, not 2012. Then 2014, we got the sequel, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I've always been confused about that. I thought the Rise came after the Dawn, but
Yeah.
but
Yeah, we're probably going to get an origin story last as well. Why not?
So I thought that was a little weird, but then we had Jason Clarke in there as the main guy, Gary Oldman as like a bad guy, and then Andy Serkis again giving some amazing heartfelt performance. And actually, I'm going to link it to something that's going to make me angry again. But Toby Kebbell was brilliant in this as Koba, as like the main bad ape. So I've seen him really good, really recently, and I've actually only ever seen him in good roles, which is why I'm so worried about him in Fantastic. It's just this great cast, this great crew they've got, and they're going to kill them all.
No.
All their careers anyway.
No, we cannot segue onto Fantastic.
Sorry, I'll get right back. I'll get right back off it. I've gone. It's gone. Fantastic's gone.
I'm hitting you with a rolled up newspaper right now. No, back to Planet of the Apes.
So now
Caesar is home, damn it.
we've got the War of the Planet of the Apes. Now that is something to get excited about because we saw the rocket take off and Rise, so we know eventually it's going to land back. The astronaut's going to land back, and he's going to see that this planet is Earth, and it's just full of apes, and there's no more humans. That's what Planet of the Apes, traditionally was. So it's going to happen. Is that going to happen at the end of war? Is that, are humans going to be gone? Is that going to be it for humans, do you think?
See, that's the thing. I thought you were going to say it's going to happen as like the main plot in war. I was like, no. The war is going to be the war, like the thing that extincts the humans once and for all. Like the Immune are still, bombing around doing what they're doing, but this is going to be the be all end all. This is going to be what either wipes them out or is the beginning of the end for them.
Well, because in Dawn we saw that can humans and apes live, together in harmony?
Well,
no.
Exactly, because there's a quote here that was right at the end of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which Caesar says is, what basically this, I'm trying to, and I'll do a Caesar impression, but I'll read it in the same way that it's like written here. It was like, war has already begun. Ape started war, and human will not forgive. And that's basically it. It's like, yeah, apes started it, and then they wanted to live in peace, but humans won't forgive them for starting it.
Breaking news! Breaking news!
Oh, here we go. What about Planet of the Apes?
No, not about Planet of the Apes. About Civil War. Set photos just been released, and you can see Crossbones in outfit for the first time.
Oh!
And oh my god, I'll send you the link now because it looks awesome.
Send me the link now. So, I was going to mention some stuff about Civil War in a bit, so we will get onto that very, very soon. But we might as well finish talking about Planet of the Apes first before we actually move on to Civil War. As much as I really do want to, because I love this breaking news stuff. But yeah, I'm waiting for it to load now. I'll put it on the screen when we talk about it. Oh, doesn't he look good? Doesn't he look cool? But yeah, we'll get onto this in a little bit. Let's just finish our Planet of the Apes stuff first. But, see, yeah, again, another breaking news right as it happens live for us. Obviously, you're not seeing this till tomorrow.
Yeah, this would have been. You'd have been like, oh yeah, I remember that yesterday.
Yeah. Obviously, for us, it's literally just broke while we're recording this. That's kind of cool. But yeah, we'll talk about Civil War in a little bit. Let's finish our War of the Planet of the Apes. But yeah, when you were saying about that guy returning in the rocket, I completely forgot he went up. I completely forgot he did.
Yeah, it was kind of a background thing, but yeah, it totally happened.
So I'm thinking, like an end or almost like maybe a post-credit scene or something like that. I think that would be very good. But and this is like, sees like I remember that was kind of cool. What I liked about Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is like the good guys won, but it was too late. Like at this point,
the damage was done.
Caesar's like, I'm going to be fighting humans. He's like, I don't want to, but it's either that or be extinct. So I don't know. I think it's going to be cool. It's going to be a good film,
I think it's going to be great. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
And that's the thing with these Planet of the Apes films. I've never been like really excited for them, but when they come out, I thoroughly enjoy them.
Yeah, sure.
They are
good
good
films.
films.
I can see that. That's sort of good summer movies, isn't they?
Yeah, except for the one thing I just saw, because I scrolled down and like, I've been looking at some pictures of Planet of the Apes while I've been doing this. But one thing I remember, I think it was in the Honest trailers, and they were just like, "Where's all the monkey wangs?" I just thought, like, I remember sitting there in the cinema thinking, "Where are their penises?" Like, is that why they're so angry? But no, it is quite cool. There's a picture as well. I think it's the international. I think it's the international trailer, but it didn't appear in the movie of a warship being used. I thought it was the international trailer for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, but it wasn't actually used in the movie. So there's speculation as to whether that might be a clip that they were gonna use, and then they thought to themselves, no, actually they saved this for war.
Maybe.
But as I say, that's just all the rumour train right now. But yeah, so was there anything else you want to mention about Planet of the Apes before we talk about this bit of news that just dropped?
There is not. Let's jump on this news.
Sweet. So the picture of Crossbones is on your screen right now. If you today is at least half competent. But yeah, isn't he kind of badass? So Crossbones, if I'm correct, is the I forget the character's actual name, but he was in Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
He was.
And he was like one of the security that worked with Captain America, wasn't he? And he sort of like he survived, but he was in the building when the helicarrier crashed into it. He was fighting Falcon, wasn't he?
Right, that's it.
Little backstory for anyone who can't remember. Just need to dust off the cobwebs, refresh your brain a little bit. But yeah, so he becomes the enemy Crossbones. Do you know anything about Crossbones?
Not other than that. I thought Crossbones was Taskmaster for the longest time. Till I realised that was a totally different character.
Do you know what?
I was like, oh, so no.
Do you know that's actually, you say that straight away. I thought, oh yeah, he is. And I thought, no, wait, he isn't. That's why Tommy's bringing this up. Like, literally, as you're saying it, I just thought it. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I honestly just thought they were the same character for like the longest time. So.
Yeah. But as always, links are in the description. But other than this picture of Crossbones, there's also some other set photos. You got one of it looks like Falcon, obviously Anthony Mackie, and there's one of it looks like Chris Evans as Captain America rolling across a car. So,
yeah, cool to see the new suits as well.
With
like
what?
Falcon's looking sharp, isn't he?
Oh yeah, definitely. He's looking really cool. So as I say, I'll put the picture of Crossbones on the screen, but for all these other pictures, follow the link in the description. It'll be Captain America Civil War Crossbones or something like that. And there's loads of pictures of set pictures. One of which actually, Joe, I will put it on the screen now just so I can talk about it. It looks like it's this part of Civil War looks like it's not aired in well, not aired. It's not filmed in like America or anything like that. Maybe because Black Panther's introduced, this could be Wakanda. Looking at the
Yeah,
location where Captain America is right now.
it definitely looks like an African state or some sort. Yeah.
Yeah, so that maybe that could be the start of Civil War, because there were, as I say, it's not confirmed, but one of the rumours I've heard is that Civil War kicks off with Captain America and his new Avengers fighting the fight, whatever they're doing, and something happens. There's a catastrophe where there's mass casualties, and as a result, superheroes are blamed for it. And obviously, Captain America and his new Avengers would be Captain America, Vision, Wanda, Falcon, War Machine, and I believe Black Widow and possibly Hawkeye. I'm not sure if Hawkeye is actually part of them, but I think Black Widow is. So that's what I've heard. That's how Captain America Civil War kicks off. It's him and his new Avengers going out there fighting the fight. No Thor, no Iron Man, just his new Avengers. And something happens, and there's massive casualties.
Apparently, Hawkeye and Black Panther have like a really badass fight in this film as well.
I've heard it, and it's like there's a lot of speculation as to how this is going to look. I think it's going to do a lot for Black Panther's character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big boost. But then that made me think as well, like if Black Panther and Hawkeye are going to have a really big battle, Black Panther was on the side of anti-reg, on Cap's side. So that makes me think, does that mean Hawkeye's pro-registration?
Well, he has got his secrets. No, wait. But yeah, but the government's he's kind of been with the government. I don't know. We'll
yeah,
see.
he is a government man, isn't he? And his family are in protection with S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Like, by S.H.I.E.L.D., by Nick Fury. I'm saying that, yeah. Nick Fury put him in protection, but then Nick Fury was irrelevant in... yeah, he wasn't really there in Civil War, but he was more on the side of Cap. Like, I think he, push come to shove, he would have helped Cap. But, yeah, so that's interesting. Hawkeye... I remember there was a rumour for a long time saying Hawkeye was the black sheep. Like, you didn't know where his allegiance was going to lie. Before they had Spider-Man, they said that Hawkeye was going to fill Spider-Man's role in the... which side does he go to sort of thing. So Hawkeye could honestly go either way. You never know. They might make Black Panther go with Pro in this. You don't know how this is going to go.
It's true. Yeah, it could be anything.
But it's interesting. It's going to be really interesting. So as I say, if you want to see any more of these set pictures, links are in the description for the some of these Civil War stuff.
But
as well.
while we're talking about it, why don't we mention who else is being confirmed to be in Civil War? That's going to kind of throw a spanner into the works of what happened in Age of Ultron.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. This kind
Segway!
This segue perfectly. See, that could. Oh, that was the comment. That was the comment I was going to talk about. One of you said there should be like a little musical intro every time we segue, and we actually joked about having like the Legion of Doom music, like every time we segue.
Yeah.
It would actually it'd be pretty awesome. It would be pretty awesome. So, looking at the Marvel site right now. They've done this in a really dirty way. Like, it's really laid out, like, really awful to read. So, excuse me if I stutter while I read some of these, but they've laid it out really awful. But so far, the people that are confirmed for Captain America Civil War are... If I can find the first one.
Roll.
Yeah. Maybe get a dramatic music playing again. But anyway, the film returns. Chris Evans as Captain America. You have, oh god, this is really laid out horribly. Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. You got Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier. You got Anthony Mackie returning as Falcon. Paul Bettany returning as Vision. Jeremy Renner returning as Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye. Don Cheadle returning as Jim Rhodes' War Machine. Elizabeth Olsen returning as Wanda Maximoff. With that being said, we have got Ant-Man. Paul Rudd is going to be making an appearance in Civil War. We also have Chadwick Boseman, who's going to be T'Challa, Black Panther. Emily Van Camp, who is Agent Carter, Agent 13, Sharon Carter. Daniel Bruhl, who is... it doesn't say. Just Daniel Bruhl. I've heard it was Baron Zemo. I've heard rumours that Darren Bruhl is supposed to be playing Baron Zemo, but it doesn't actually say on the Marvel website. They haven't actually listed, so maybe they don't want to actually.
From Inglourious Bastards.
Yes. Inglourious Bastards and Bourne Ultimatum. Frank Grillo is Crossbones. Brock Rumlow. William Hurt is making his great return as General
Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt Ross. I don't know how you say. You're supposed to say Thaddeus. Thaddeus, would you say? Thaddeus?
Thaddeus, yeah.
Thaddeus, General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, and Martin Freeman as... It doesn't say, but it was...
Confirmed.
Who was it? We spoke about this last week. Who was it?
I've forgotten the name, but it was some like Wakandan expert.
There was like it was Ross something. Like I know it was General Ross, but there was also I forget his name. We spoke about it last week. We're awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just looking at that is an insane amount of people that are joining the cast of Civil War. This is insane. It's going to be so cool.
Yeah, I mean, Civil War has to be big, right? So I'm not going to complain whenever they put someone else in there. I'm only going to complain if there's not enough.
Exactly, and that 16 people that have been confirmed is also just recently, like just before we started recording this, Mark Ruffalo has hinted that he might be in Civil War, despite his ending in Age of Ultron, and also it's been confirmed that Marvel are definitely in talks. It's about, was it the contract signings with Isa Butterfield for Spider-Man?
Yeah, so basically he's gone through to the final stage of negotiations, but there's actually a little bit of controversy around this in the press world, whereas a lot of people are confirming it, and a lot of Hollywood trades as well as just fan sites, because there's an important distinction to be made. Like a lot of these fan blogs and things like that, their sources aren't taken on board as much as what's known as the trades, which are like the big official places like the Wrap and things like that, the Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, these sort of things. But nowadays, with places like Latino Review and El Mayimbe, who are breaking all these huge scoops all the time, these blogs are being taken a lot more seriously now. So, I think it's important to take it on board as, yes, he is in final stages. But a lot of these trades have come out and have started saying that, well, you always enter negotiations with Marvel even at early screening stages, just so that if they say yes, that bit's all done out the way.
Yeah. So
there's kind of a bit of a backlash behind it, but the general consensus is, yes, this is happening.
Yeah, I think it's just more like everyone was saying that he's top billed, and now obviously they are actually moving things along. So it's saying, okay, it's basically, unless something drastic happens, like unless Isa Butterfield really screws it up, or maybe there's a scheduling conflict or something happens and he can't do the role, I can only really imagine that might be the only reason he doesn't get picked. Because right now it seems almost a shoo-in that that's the way it's heading. And
again, if you look at that picture I pointed out a couple of episodes ago, you know, it might be on the screen now already, if not now.
Oh, but, why give me the work?
But look at that. That might be your Peter Parker. This kid might be, you know, sharing some screen time with Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans soon. He's Spider-Man. That's great.
Yeah, it's also been rumoured quite a lot that him and Iron Man might have... Oh, yeah, that's the thing. They said about his suit. They said that the suit's going to be quite different from anything we've seen thus far, but it's still going to be classic Spider-Man.
I want Iron Spider.
Yes, because that was the other thing they said, that there has been quite a few... That's the thing, when it's the rumour mill, you never know who started it. It could have just been someone on Reddit. But there's been a lot of talks that saying him and Tony Stark might be having a closer relationship, which is making you think if he's going to be in Civil War as his first movie, and it's classic Spider-Man, it's got to be the Iron Spider, especially seeing a Yellow Jacket in the trailer for Ant-Man. Like, it can be done. Easily be done.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, but man, that'd just be so cool. And you think that's 16 people confirmed in Civil War right now? Add in the Hulk and Spider-Man, there's 18 superheroes and enemies. Like, it's just going to be a fantastic movie. I'm so excited.
I hope so. I mean, we have seen the flip side of what adding loads of characters does to stuff before, with like Spider-Man as well, actually, with Spider-Man 3 and kind of the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping third time's a charm.
Yeah, no, this is the first one that's had the Marvel touch to it. So unless Sony goes to town vetoing stuff out of the movie, obviously Civil War it can't do, but in the actual Spider-Man's films,
yeah.
Well, I suppose they can a little bit in Civil War because they still actually own creative control on Spider-Man, like they have the final say.
I think Sony are, I say smart, but I think they're smart enough to know that Marvel have got their heads screwed on more than Sony have. So I think they're going to listen.
Especially after that, when the Sony hacks happened and that email got leaked between, I think it was Feige and one of the Sony executives, and they were basically asking how they should do the next Spider-Man film, because Spider-Man 2 was I liked it, but apparently it did so bad in the box office that they were literally asking Feige, like, what should we do next? How can we save this? And to his credit, he answered. He was like, yeah, do this, do that. Like, this is what you need to do. And I think when it got leaked, they were just like, damn it, we can't, like, we're just going to have to bite the bullet here. Like, we just asked Marvel for help on how to make our movies. But no, it's cool.
They're doing
Like,
it right. They're doing it right.
yeah, but it was probably a smart move on their behalf. Like if that hadn't got leaked, then maybe the third movie could have been alright. But
Speaking of doing it right, though, let's talk about doing it wrong. So, let's talk about the Fox X-Men films for a second. And
okay,
how, and how it's come out this week that there's going to be a few spin-off films. So, as we come into the end of this main sort of trilogy from Bryan Singer, it's not trilogy. There's this main story from Bryan Singer, and the end of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I guess Fox are starting to expand into I don't know, the rest of the characters they haven't given up the rights to Disney to yet.
yeah,
And,
well,
that's coming in the form of what's it called? Oh, the New Mutants.
yeah, the New Mutants. So the thing is, I think what Fox are trying to do, and I think they're kind of getting their heads screwed on a little bit more straight now by doing Days of Future Past. They reset everything, or air quotes, reset everything. They've got a nice new young cast to X-Men. How they're going to turn out, we don't know yet until we see Age of Apocalypse. But they've got a new cast. Wolverine's coming towards an end. He's got one more film coming out, and then Hugh Jackman's done. And maybe they might cast a new Wolverine. Maybe they won't.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah. Well, I'm still saying Tom Hardy would be quite a cool one. But I think they're trying to do what Marvel's doing, but with just around X-Men and mutants. And I think that's very possible. There are so many mutants and there are so many stories that I think it is very possible. They could do New Mutants, they can do X-Men, they could do X-Force, they could do X-Factor, Excalibur, whatever they want to do.
X-Force's build it's currently kind of in pre-production hell, but it's out there. It's been green-lit, so whether it comes to fruition anytime soon or not, we don't know.
Yeah, but they can't do a PG-13 X-Force. It has to be. But we've already seen they've got the balls to do it with Deadpool, depending on how film that actually is. It would have to be in the same lines as that. And that's the thing, is like, even though Deadpool technically isn't a mutant, he's still always classed in with the mutant lot. He was more a human who was given a mutant's power, but he isn't actually a mutant. He was just given the healing factor. So as we're talking this about New Mutants right now, the page I'm looking at, again, links in the description, but the page I'm looking at keeps coming across the top of the screen saying, Civil War's Crossbone Falcon, breaking news. I'm like, yeah, we're on it. It's fine. We've done it. It's cool. But no, now it seems like they've got a plan. Like, I still don't think it's ever going to be as great as the MCU. It just can't be. But they're on a better road now. I have high hopes for the X-Men future in the way they're doing stuff. As long as they have a plan, a long-term plan, it should go. I am confident, and that they make it interact. They don't do a New Mutants, and they're in the same universe, but nothing's the same. Like, anything that happens in X-Men doesn't happen in New Mutants. Everything that happens in New Mutants doesn't happen in X-Men, but apparently they're still the same universe. If that happens, it's gonna suck. But if they actually make it crossover, like maybe in New Mutants, Charles Xavier, like James McAvoy, is like, kids, you're the New Mutants, blah 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 blah. Maybe they have a villain that's been in another X-Men thing, or I don't know, maybe they reference the school. It's not just one of these things where it's just in the background. They have characters cross over and stuff like that. That would be cool. Like, as long as they've got a plan where they're going, I can see it being quite good. But they just need to have that long-term plan. If they just do, right, we've made New Mutants, cool, that was successful, alright, let's make another one, that's going to suck. They need to have a long-term plan and just hope it pays off, like Marvel did when they first made Iron Man. They made that first Iron Man, they had a long-term plan, and I think they were just saying, like, let's see how this goes. If it doesn't work, we'll leave it at Iron Man 1. If it does work, they'll keep going, and obviously it did work. And I think that's what Fox needs to have, that attitude with X-Men and New Mutants, but I don't know.
Good job, I trust Fox. Not.
Yeah, and also, do you know what? It's kind of I literally just thought of this. It's kind of in like, you know how like we were saying before about how everything that Fox has the rights to, Marvel's killing off. Like, no more Fantastic Four, death of Deadpool, death of Wolverine. Like, they're killing off the big characters. Well, after Avengers vs X-Men, Cannonball and Sunspot of the X-Men, or more importantly, of the New Mutants, became Avengers. And then Fox go, New Mutants! Like, can't kill them now. Like, we've got them. You've only just put them in the Avengers.
Sounds just like the new Avengers.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe they just saw the end of Age of Ultron and someone just went, dude, we got new film idea. I just watched this film that I won't talk about, but no, like all jokes aside, like as much as Fox tends to do whatever Fox does, but I'm being an optimist. I'm thinking that as long as they are planning this right, they've already got their Wolverine franchise, which I know is coming to an end. They've got their X-Men franchise that looks like they're sorting out. Deadpool's coming off. You've got New Mutants that are coming off. I think as long as they plan where they're going, I'm hopeful for it.
Oh, I'm glad one of us is.
I weren't expecting to sway you round to it, but I don't know. I'm just hoping it's going to be quite good. But and the thing is, the director for it is Josh Boone, who did other such stuff as what other films was it he did? I just had it.
He did The Fault in Our Stars. That was
it.
Biggest one he did. Yeah.
Yeah, and because we were talking last week about some of the directors that were being looked at for the new Spider-Man film, the new Spider-Man reboot. And even though he wasn't on the short list, like their top choices, apparently Sony and Marvel.
Might as well as been.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like Marvel, if you look at the directors that they were looking at, they're like almost exactly like Josh Boone. But apparently, he was one of the people that Sony and Marvel were looking at to do the Spider-Man reboot. So, as long as he brings that same talent that they possibly saw in him for Spider-Man over towards the New Mutants, that'd be quite good. Because the New Mutants, for anyone who doesn't know, is more like focusing on a younger, maybe more an inexperienced set of X-Men. So they might not be battling Apocalypse and whoever else is to come next, but they're still their own little team. But I think they battle sort of like the lesser threats, maybe. But I'd say I haven't read New Mutants. I've only really heard about them. I think it was when Marvel had so many teams that they had to kind of spread out a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm being optimistic about it. As long as Fox plans what they're doing,
And I respect you for it.
Yeah. So before there's a few other things we want to talk about, but before we leave Marvel, there's one more Marvel thing I sort of wanted to bring up. Sort of Marvel. It's more Disney really than it is Marvel, and that goes back to your friend Joss Whedon.
Oh yeah.
Who, despite all the things he said, I still love the guy. He's brought me too many awesome shows not to love him. But basically, he was expressing his thoughts about how much he would love to direct the next Star Wars movie.
Who wouldn't?
Exactly. That's exactly his line. When asked about it, they were like, "What are you interested in doing?" And his quote was, "Right now, I'd be interested in a long nap. But are you kidding? It's Star Wars. It's always going to be Star Wars." So I think I think the majority of directors would jump at the chance to do Star Wars. But the one thing he said,
which is why I don't think Josh Trank quit. I think he got fired. Thanks, Fantastic Stick.
Yeah.
Sorry, quick.
No, Fantastic Stick. Stop it. It's like the NWO. It just keeps coming back. But but yeah, the one thing he said he didn't want to happen, and for the life of me, I hope he's right. And that's saying he wouldn't want Star Wars universe to interact with the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And for the love of God, I hope that doesn't happen. That would kill both franchises like that. That would be awful. There's no reason.
It'd be disgusting.
He's like, what, in a galaxy far, far away, there's Darth Vader and Jedis and the Force, and then suddenly Thanos just appears. What up, dog? I got an Infinity Gauntlet. Just zaps Vader. Yeah, chop my hand off, do it.
Oh, God. No, I can't.
Could you imagine it? Oh, imagine that. Thanos has the Infinity Gauntlet. He has all the gems attached. He's like holding Captain America by the throat. All the heroes are down. He's about to just destroy him with a click of his finger. And then Darth Vader just chops the gauntlet off his head. He's done.
They're battling in Infinity War on Earth, probably in New York, because it's always in New York. And then all of a sudden they're all dead, because guess what? The Death Star just blew up planet Earth. Done. All of them obliterated. No survivors. I don't care how many gems you got on your wrist. Death Star.
Could you imagine the first Avengers film when when Iron Man comes back through the portal and they think he's dead and Hulk screams at him when he wakes up? Take out Hulk, put in Chewbacca. It's like they look at him, he's dead. Just, Tony Stark's like, oh God, what was that? But no, I can't understand why Joss Whedon would he's still sticking with Disney. I'm assuming he's still writing for Marvel as well. But
quickly speaking of Star Wars, Diego Luna was also cast in Rogue One this week, so he's going to be another one of the main actors in that, which is cool. I like him and what I've seen him in.
Any idea who he might be playing?
No one's said anything yet. But it's going to be a whole bunch of new characters, I think. So
Oh,
no
really?
one's for. Yeah. So I'm just looking forward to seeing these good actors in these good roles in this good universe.
Oh, cool. So my next thing was going to be any speculations of who you think he might be, like your thoughts. But again, if it's an all new cast, then you can't really
Yeah,
speculate
it's all
anything,
new.
can you? But,
It's all new, but I'm excited to see it. I think this is going to be like a war film, which is going to be cool.
yeah. I
But,
think I remember reading something about that actually, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool. But let's get away from Disney. Let's get away from Marvel because we talk about it quite a lot. And let's move on to the flip side of it. Let's talk about some DC.
Oh, do we have to? I mean, I love DC and everything, but the DC news this week is weak.
Well, there was something you brought to my attention, and I know nothing about it, so I'll just let you jump away with this one. But that's the trailer or the reveal for Supergirl.
Yeah.
We're going to drop just personal views aside. Drop the knowledge for anyone out there who doesn't know what's going on.
Okay.
Explain to
so,
them what the deal is.
So on the TV side of things, DC's kind of killing it lately. They've got good or bad, love it or hate it. There's a lot of shows out there in the DC universe. You have got Arrow, which is the first sort of breakaway hit one, which is on the CW network, along with The Flash, which span off from Arrow and is set in the same universe.
And
Which is
I've
now gonna
heard,
become known as the CW verse.
Flash is fantastic.
It is. So is Arrow as well. Arrow, Flash has only had one season. Arrow's had three. Two of the seasons are very strong in Arrow, and the other one's only just not as good, but still great, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Flash has just had one really, really, really strong season. Excuse me. Otherwise, there's the Gotham show, which I forget which network that's running on.
I have no idea. I watched that as well, and I have no idea. It's played on Channel 5 over here.
Yeah,
but,
it's Channel 5 over here. I'm not sure. I can't remember what network that's on now. It's a shame.
but that's a good show as well.
I wasn't a fan of it personally, but yeah, that's sort of found its market. Another one is the final one. Excuse me, is what's it called? Constantine, which is kind of a different one. And I know it had a whole campaign recently because it got cancelled and then brought back and then cancelled or something like that. I don't know.
Is Constantine any link to the movie with Keanu Reeves? Is that the same character? Or is that
It's the
completely
same
different?
character, but that film does absolutely nothing to. The TV show is true to the character. That film is not.
Ah, right, fair enough.
Slightest bit. He's not even English in that. He's like a Londoner, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I had to put on an accent. I am
Yeah.
actually.
I was about to say, I think I mentioned that before. Like, you always know when someone's got a bad British accent when a British person does an accent for them. Like, but yeah. So you say about the great TV shows. There was two. There's Supergirl and what was the other one?
Okay, the other one is actually going to be in the CW verse. It's another spin-off, and it's based on characters that have already been introduced, and that's going to be called Legends of Tomorrow, I believe. And if I'm honest with you, it just looks ridiculous. It looks stupid, and it's time travel, and it just looks.
Well, I was going to say, even if it was something you liked, if it had time travel in, it was already getting a negative vote from you. 'Cause you hate time travel stuff, don't
No, I
you?
don't hate it. I just strongly dislike
Yeah.
it.
Because that's again where we're opposites. Because I love time travel stories.
No, I love Back to the Future. I love
them.
it. I love it, and there's problems with it. I love Looper as well, but a lot of the time it's just done so wrong. It's just so stupid. Harry Potter introduced time travel for no reason. It's just lazy writing. That's
So
the stuff that I hate.
Tell you what is a good time travel show, 12 Monkeys.
Yeah, you're right,
Not the movie, the TV show.
Yeah, okay.
That,
But,
I'm thoroughly enjoying that. That's really good right
I'll have
now.
to check that out. But from what I've seen about these two new shows that we've got trailers for this week, don't care. Not gonna watch either of them. Not gonna give them the time of day.
So do you know anything about the basic plot of what's happening with Supergirl? Because I just realised I started talking about this new thing. We never actually got to what actually Supergirl is.
So Supergirl is basically she's from Krypton because Superman is the last Kryptonian except for every other. I almost swore every other Kryptonian that didn't die, which is a lot.
Like, they just took longer getting to Earth.
Yeah, first there's
Sat
Zod.
nav
It's
broke.
like, oh no, there's not the last one. Zod's there as well. Then there's the cousin. It's like, oh, I've got a cousin who's also super. Then there's the dog. Oh, my dog, Krypto the super dog. Yeah, look, he's he's survived as well. Then there's a whole city that was like shrunk and like, yeah. Superman is not the last Kryptonian at all.
Again, I keep stopping you, like actually talking about Supergirl. A dog, like we're already trying to believe that somehow across the universe there's another planet where everyone looks just exactly the same as humans, but they have powers under a different sun. But now we're also to believe that canines are there as well.
Yeah, man, Krypto the super dog. But yeah, all that aside, this is about her working for some like, I don't know, publishing company or something, and she's got a boss who's just the worst, you know, and like she's got to get the coffee in the morning. It's just like such a Sex in the City with superpowers. It just seems so forced and shoehorned. It's like there's so many strong, like truly strong, powerful female characters on Arrow that if they spun off and gave them a good show other than this Legends of Tomorrow rubbish, that it would make a great show and it'd be thoroughly entertaining. This just seems like they're pandering to females and they're shoehorning this established character into this thing that they think women will like. It just seems forced.
See, that's the thing, is I didn't watch all the trailer. I skimmed over it just so we could talk about it a little bit here. But that's what it looks like to me. It looks like true DC or superhero fans are not going to be a fan of this show. However, it looks like a good teen drama superhero program. That's what it looks like. It looks kind of like if you're into talking about like their drama and her love life, but she also has superpowers. If that's what you're looking for, it looks like it might be quite good. But if you're looking for a DC superhero program like Flash, like Arrow, then no. I don't know, but
so I won't be watching that one. But let me know how it is, guys. Yeah.
But and then the other one you said that's in the CW network? Did you say?
Yeah.
Like that. When I start watching Arrow and Flash one day, which I will, I'm going to binge watch them because I've heard about how awesome they are. I think I will too also go into this one when it comes out.
It just is this whole thing where it's like this guy from the future tells them that they're all going to be like a hero team in the future, and he's like, oh no, you're not heroes, you're legends. And it's like, and then they're like fighting this, they keep traveling through time and they're like fighting, like one minute these people are shooting lasers, next minute they're shooting bullets. It's just like people are coming back from the dead and fighting, and it's just so weird. Like it doesn't sound real. Like if this was April Fool's, I'd completely just be like, oh, it's just an April Fool's joke. It just doesn't sound right. I don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah. But you think the success they've had with Arrow and Flash, like
maybe it's got to their heads and people can't say no to them anymore. That's why.
Well, it's going to be one of two things. Maybe it's that, or maybe they do know what they're doing. Because there was a lot of people when Guardians of the Galaxy was first announced that people were like, "What?" Like I remember, as I said,
not one of those people.
Oh, of course you were not. No, because I was about to say you are the Guardians hipster.
I am the ultimate Guardian.
But like, there's a lot of people. Like my friends asked me if it was a parody movie, if it was a joke, and it became one of the most successful Marvel movies out of a lot of them. Like in terms of how fans like them.
Yeah.
It's one of the
favourites. Top of a lot of lists. Yeah.
So like maybe like they've announced it, but we haven't actually seen anything yet. Like, nothing real anyway. It's not like a fully fledged episode. For all we know, it could be very good. So, if you just, I'd say I haven't watched Flash and Arrow, but based off the huge success I've heard about it, I'd say at least that one give the benefit of the doubt. They've had two shows and they've had two awesome shows. So with their third, they've got no reason to judge them poorly yet.
Right.
But as I say, I haven't watched any of them, so I don't really know yet. But then what? Do you know what? Oh man, this literally has just occurred to me, and this isn't the normal sort of thing we talk about. But I thought we could bring it up anyway, just because.
Breaking news.
It's not really breaking news, but it's something I've just occurred to me, and that's the voice actor on Simpsons, Harry Shearer.
Oh, is it the guy who died?
No, he didn't die. He's just left.
Oh. Is that like Ned Flanders, Mr. Burns?
Yeah, Ned Flanders, Mr. Burns, Principal Skinner, and a whole bunch of others. But personally, Principal Skinner, Mr. Burns, and Ned Flanders are like my favourite characters.
Oh,
I
really?
love them. I admit, our Principal Skinner is hands down my favourite character. It sounds silly, but he just is. I love him. I think he's just so funny.
He's a pretty cool character, he is.
Huh?
He is a pretty cool character.
The jokes he comes out with, and like the fact that the humour goes over his head. It's just everything about him I love, and I think as I'm getting older, I'm just enjoying him more, just because of. Just how silly of a character he is. It's the same reason I like Mr. Burns, same reason I like Ned Flounders. They just crack me up. They always have, ever since I was a kid. And the fact he's leaving Simpsons, I mean, granted, 27, 28 seasons. That's impressive.
That's pretty damn good.
That is damn impressive. And
So-
one Godzilla movie. But,
Apparently, this is the podcast of breaking set picture leak photos, right?
yeah, even though we upload this a day after we record it.
Yeah,
But
so this is yesterday's news for you, but this is breaking for us. Killer Croc has just been dropped from him on set of Suicide Squad. And it's terrible. There we go. Right, moving on.
Yeah, as I say, I put the picture up when he said terrible. So, but this is like bringing up what you said about last week, where he looks like a mixture of Electro and Lizard.
Yep, that's it.
And he's supposed to be this big powerhouse person, but his head looks so much bigger than the rest of his body. Like in the big guy behind him is kind of like, all right.
Yeah, the dude behind him, the security guard, looks like he could have Killer Croc. That's not cool. That's not okay. Some random security guard on a film set should not look like they should be able to take out the main villain. That's ridiculous.
He kind of looks like he has Hulk Hogan muscles. Like, you know when they're like, at one point in their life, they were hench, they were well built. And then they've got old, leathery and saggy. That's kind of what he looks like.
Oh, it looks so stupid.
I'm waiting for him to go, what you gonna do, brother, when Killer Croc comes running wild on you?
So, see, normally, if any of your fans are DC fans and they hear you hating on this stuff, they'll just be like, oh, Dave, you just hate DC and you love Marvel. Well, I love DC and I hate this. So there you go.
The thing is, this is the weird thing about us. Like, you criticise it, like, rightfully so, like, with stuff like this. But still, for some reason, there's always this glimmer of hope inside me that thinks it could be a good film. Like, it still could be. But, admittedly, like, if I'm trying to think this, role reversed. This was a Spider-Man movie, and that was the Lizard. I'd be like, what are you doing? And I can imagine that's what you're feeling when you're thinking that's Killer Croc.
Yeah. You've played the Arkham games. You know how terrifying
Yeah.
Killer Croc is in those games. That's what we're getting. Look at that picture. Look at that. That's what we're getting.
Where it looks like he's just a guy with a skin condition who's roided down the gym a bit too much, looking at what
Yeah.
he's wearing.
That's it.
It looks like he's gone to a Game of Thrones and got the grayscale.
Oh,
But yeah, so anyway, there's that. But we'll move along before Terry.
Excuse me.
Before Tommy has like a pulmonary embolism or like something like that. So anyway, yeah. So we spoke a little bit about Supergirl and some of the other spin-offs, Killer Croc, and also I just thought I'd throw in there about Harry Shearer. How sad that is that he's actually leaving
Yeah,
Simpsons. Like,
that's like-
I'm gutted about that. I really am. But with that being said, let's move on to something else. I'm really, really, really excited about, and I don't know how much you guys will be. For you guys who like my gameplay walkthroughs, you might be really excited about this. But another trailer for Lego Jurassic Park has come out, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I think the game looks like it's going to be so fun. Have you actually seen the trailer yet, Tommy?
Yeah, it looks great.
Have you seen the newest one that come out? I think it was like a day ago.
No.
Oh, it looks fantastic. And other than the fact that not only is it going over all the Jurassic Park films, including the newest one, Jurassic World, and it's got the clip, like the voice clips from the actual film itself as well. So you're hearing Dr. Grant, you're hearing Chris Pratt in his new role, but it's being released at the same time as Jurassic World, and I think that is
Smart.
just such a smart idea.
Genius, that is.
Because
Dead
games
smart.
that built based on films are normally awful. They're normally really terrible, with the exception of Captain America. That was a really good game. But no, they're normally really bad, but this is great because they've obviously had this in the works for a while. It's spanning over all 4 Jurassic Park films. It looks like it's going to be hilarious. You can play and build as the dinosaurs as well. Little Velociraptor in the trailer, flicking up all the bricks. Again, link in the description for that. But it looks fun. It looks really awesome, and I'm so doing a walkthrough of it. It looks like it's going to be so much fun. It looks like it's going to be such a good break from the norm. Just a real take your brain out. This is just dinosaurs, and this is fun, and it's gonna be cool. Do you think you'll play it, Tommy?
Yeah. I love the Lego games and I love Jurassic Park. I don't see anything keeping me away from it.
And plus a game with Chris Pratt in it now as well,
Right.
and Dr. Grant. No, it's why not? And apparently, he's got the the actual T-Rex sounds as well. Oh yes. It's not that newer news, but in Jurassic World. was a bit of news that cracked me up. I thought it was hilarious. They were like, I forget the actor's name, but the Asian scientist from the very first Jurassic Park film, when they're hatching the eggs, and I forget his name, the fly, Malcolm. What was the actual actor's name? The guy who played Malcolm in Jurassic Park. He's the human fly. What's his name?
I can't think of it now.
This is gonna kill me. It's like I'm seeing him in Friends as well. I know his name. Anyway, I'm sure you'll.
Jeff Goldblum.
That's the one. There we go. I could hear you. I could literally hear you IMDbing it in my mind. Like I knew you'd find it. But yeah, like Jeff Goldblum. He's talking to the Asian scientist, and they're talking
Henry
about
Wu.
That'll be him, and they're saying about how he's like why they all female, blah blah blah. Henry Wu is back in Jurassic World, and then there's an announcement. Henry Wu is not the only character, the cast member, to return to Jurassic World. I'm like, oh, who's it going to be? It gets released. The T-Rex is returning. I thought it was hilarious. Why announce that? The T-Rex from the original Jurassic Park is going to be in Jurassic World, and not like the model or anything like that.
Well, let's be honest, he's not getting a lot of work lately.
It's like,
guys really put him out of business.
Because like when I first read that, I thought like, oh, maybe they're gonna like have it all CGI, except for they're gonna have the original like prosthetic, original T-Rex.
I heard he was a stunt double for Godzilla, but other than that, he's not had a lot of work lately.
Yeah, maybe that's why it was always in the water, because he was the stunt double. But yeah, they're like, no, apparently it is it's the T-Rex that was in the first Jurassic Park film. That's gonna be the T-Rex that's depicted in this film. And what do you reckon is gonna save the day at the end? As the banner falls down, this time saying Jurassic World. With the I just thought that was a hilarious bit of news. Why announce that? The original T-Rex is returning.
And T-Rexes have bills to pay as well.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh man, but yeah, thought that was worth mentioning, I guess.
It might have been. Anyway, let's talk about something that I know nothing about and you are very happy about, and that is True Detective.
Yes. I think it's the last thing we actually have on our agenda. But yeah, I don't know if any of you guys have watched the first season of True Detective, but that was a fantastic show. Yeah, Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. Whoa, I really said his name wrong.
I think you missed a few letters in that.
I think I just went McConaughey. I just said all the consonants and none of the vowels. But yeah, like Woody Harrelson and Matthew. I can't even say. How do you say?
McConaughey.
I can't even speak. I'm dying. My brain's gone. I'm dead. But yeah, it was a fantastic show. Really, really well done. A great kind of whodunit. And in the show itself, it spans over 30 years. Constantly going back and forth. And they did a really good job of aging the characters as well. And it's one of the shows that's so cool because neither one of them are good guys. There isn't a good guy in the show. They're just two detectives who work together, really don't like each other either, and they are so different. And one of them's just a flat out, the only way to describe him is by saying he is an arsehole. He means well, and he really wants to, because basically the main plot is this guy is killing women, killing kids as well. And he really, like, physically wants to catch the guy because he hates what he's doing and he is so appalled by what this person is doing. Yet in his personal life, the guy is an arse. He is just not a nice man.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey. Why do I keep trying to say his name?
Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey.
But Matthew's character, he's just strange. He's just a strange man. And like at some points, and obviously I won't say how it actually goes, but there are points where you think, is he the guy who's actually killing all these people? Is it him? And basically the whole story is them two telling their story to FBI agents who I think are re-looking into the case, are looking into the story, and it's them two just saying about, okay, what were you doing in 92? What were you doing in 98? Like how were you investigating this guy? And it's them just retelling their story. And it's so well done, and towards the end as well, it gets so exciting. It's so well done.
It was only a mini series, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was one of these high budget, short episodic programs, and each one's like an hour long. And it was just so well done, and the theme for it as well, by a group called, I think it's the Handsome Men.
Okay.
And it's called the Long Road or something like that. But the theme for it is fantastic. Such a good song. But basically, they've announced season 2. Well, it's been announced for a while, but there's actually a trailer, and it is Vince Vaughn and Colin Farrell playing the two main characters, and it looks really good.
Pronounced both of their surnames, right? Okay.
Yeah, less syllables. I could do it. But no, it looks really good. And basically, I think every season, if they do a season 3 past this, every season it's going to be a completely different place, completely different characters, completely different stories. Because there is no way they can carry on the same story from the same characters, because they've spanned their whole life in season 1. So if they did do a season 2 of the same characters, you'll be like, well, hold up, how comes none of this came up in the story first time around? Like, why was this not mentioned as part of your life? So it looks really cool, but it just looks like another gritty story with a bunch of people who couldn't be more different trying to catch a killer. And it looks like it's going to be just as great, done in the same gritty style where you just... No one's a good guy, but they're trying to do a right thing. So, as I say, I'll put a link in the description trailer to that as well, but I'm looking forward to that. It looks like it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I really do want to check it out. It's on my list. It's
I definitely would. I'd definitely heavily suggest True Detective. It's a fantastic program.
I'll probably watch it before season 2 starts then.
Yeah, because binge watch season 1. Yeah, oh man, the binge watching True Detective would be a really good way to watch it. I watched it episodic, like when it came out. But
yeah,
oh man, binge watching True Detective, that'd be a great way to watch it.
Yeah, I might wait till the end of season 2 then and binge watch them both.
Yeah, you could do that as well. Imagine that though, you wait until the end of season 2, like, oh man, I can't wait. You start watching season 1, you're like, I don't like it. Not a fan. But yeah, so yeah, watch it. But with that being said and done, is there anything else you want to talk about, Tommy? Or
no, we need to think of a question.
Well, unless you can think of a question in the next 5 seconds, I've got more of a conundrum than a question.
Oh no, is it what I think it is?
Yeah, it is what I think it is. So unless there's anything you can think about, like, well, unless what we've just other than stuff we've just spoke about, I mean, I could just drop this question. It's nothing to do with movies and it's nothing to do with talk about, but
drop it. Let's
drop it.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Because we're coming towards the end, or it's already the end for Tommy, but we're at the end of deadline month, and our brain, as you can probably tell from this podcast, has died. we will be in a better state next week, but or at least Tommy probably will be.
Mad Max can only pump me up so much.
Yeah, exactly. But we haven't had a chance to really think up a great question, but we have got more of a question of the universe, a problem that nobody has ever been able to solve, and that question is: would you rather sing every time you talk or dance every time you walk? What would you rather do?
And establish the rules here. Everyone in the world is one or the other, so you just get to pitch which one you are. So it wouldn't be weird. It wouldn't be too weird anyway. And you are a good singer and a good dancer, based on whichever one you pick. So
so there wouldn't be different varieties.
It wouldn't just be you having to sing every time or you having to dance every time. It would literally be like the way you move around is by awesomely dancing everywhere, or the way you talk is by like some badass singing.
See, now that might have changed my answer now.
Right, it does, doesn't it? That's why I thought I'd lay out the rules.
Obviously, we'll give our answers at the start of next week's ones. But what do you guys think? Would you like to, every time you spoke, every conversation you ever have, ever, is singing, or any time you walk or move anywhere, you're dancing?
And you might get tired of dancing everywhere. That's all I'm saying. Like, you may think singing's all that, but
at the same time, you might be having an argument, or you might be having a really serious conversation, or like you might have to tell someone some really heartbreaking news, and you're singing it.
That's what I mean. It's tough.
Yeah, but then you saying that everyone's a good dancer or a good singer, I don't know. This might have changed my mind, but you have to wait for next week to find out what we think about that. Guys, let us know in the comments. What do you think about that little question, that little riddle, or just anything we spoke about? What are your thoughts on it? What's your thoughts on Mad Max? If you have seen it, or if you haven't, definitely go see it. What's your thoughts on Fox and the New Mutants? All the stuff that Marvel and Disney and Civil War's doing, True Detective, Simpsons, all the stuff DC's doing. We've gone over a lot more than I thought we were actually going to talk about this week.
Yeah, me too.
A lot more. So yeah, let us know in the comments any about that sort of stuff. And Tommy, what are you up to this next week? Now you've got so much time on your hands.
I'll be doing Schmozones. I'll be doing other podcasts. Favorite film ever of all time. Check it out on iTunes. Yeah, I'll be busy doing all fun things like that. What about you, Dave? What you got coming out?
Standard sort of stuff. Like, obviously, everyone on my channel knows that The Walking Dead has taken a bit of a hiatus, mainly because I've got so much work in my real life I need to do in my IRL life. So, but no, there'll still be the same sort of stuff. Podcast, Captain's Quarters, rounding up the week. This time with my face. Because couldn't believe that. It made me so angry. I recorded the whole thing and the audio just failed on me. That made me so upset that I did. But yeah, probably be a double length episode this time because there's like 2 weeks worth of questions to build up on. So that's going to be awesome. It's something for you guys to look forward to. But other than that, Walking Dead, Captain's Classics, and Skyrim, Captain's Classics, and The Walking Dead will be back very, very soon. But as I say, links to everything, my Facebook, my Twitter, in the description below. You're already on my channel, so you know where to find my videos. And Tommy Smo Tunes, his Twitter, and also his favourite film ever podcast as well. All down in the links below, along with everything we have spoken about this week. Any last words, Tommy?
No.
Well said, well said. With that being said, my name's Dave.
And I'm Tommy.
And we'll catch you guys later.